Good morning, first grade. How is everyone doing? I hope you're having a great day. All right, today we are wrapping up our work with Seahorse, the shyest fish in the sea. And in today's lesson, we are going to take a look at a short video clip that talks about a different type of seahorse than what we read, a different species than what we read in this text. And we're going to see what connections we can make between the video clip and the text, just to, again, build our knowledge about seahorses. And then we will finish up today's lesson with a Socratic seminar question, and we'll talk about that. So let's look at our pizza questions. So our whole pizza question, what can we discover about animals' unique features? So we've done a lot of work to learn and start to answer this question when it comes to seahorses, but you'll see in our next two texts, we are going to learn about a lot of other animals and their features. So I'm excited to start the next book as well. And then our slice of pizza question: how do seahorses use their unique features? So we've spent a lot of time learning, talking, working on seahorses and their unique features. So I think we've done a good job to answer that. You have written an informative paragraph about that. So we've done a great job. Today, our bite-sized piece of pizza question is: how does Seahorse, the shyest fish in the sea, build my knowledge? So that's where we are going to be using the video to connect what we've learned from the text. And then, of course, you'll be sharing in Socratic Seminar what you've learned from this text and how this text has helped you. All right, so before we take a look at the video clip, I wanted to just share one page from the text that we haven't read yet. And it says, about seahorses. The seahorses in this book are barber seahorses. You can see other kinds of seahorses on the pages at either end of the book. And I know someone had mentioned that there were several other species that the text shows at the front and the back of the book. So you actually might want to pause the video for just a second and grab your copy of the book. Especially as you're preparing to answer your question for the Socratic seminar, you definitely will want to have this nearby so you could look through. It says, marine zoologists think there are 35 seahorse species, but they may still find others. Many kinds of seahorses need protecting. Millions die each year when they are taken from the seas to be sold and when humans disturb the quiet waters where they live. All right, so again, this text focused on the barber seahorse, and the video clip that we are going to watch is about the pygmy seahorse. And if you look on the back of the book, you can see if you can find the pygmy seahorse. And actually, I see that right there. So I don't know if you can find it, but the video that we'll watch in just a moment talks about the pygmy seahorse. So just keep the text in mind. And when you notice something that the video mentions that connects to what we read in the text, feel free to make the connection symbol, and then we'll talk a little bit about that after the video clip. All right, so let's take a look.
This is a pygmy seahorse. It's one of the smallest species of seahorses in the world, smaller than a paperclip. Camouflage is critical to their survival. It's how they hide from predators. The seahorses are too small and too fragile to make it on their own, so unless they find a place that they fit in perfectly, they'll die. So the pygmy seahorses spend their entire adult lives on a type of coral called a sea fan. Orange pygmy seahorses live on orange sea fans. Purple seahorses live on purple sea fans. But here's the mystery. Do they search for a coral that matches their color? Or do they change their color to match the coral? To explore that question, you have to watch the process unfold, and no one had ever done that until this year. Biologists went to the Philippines and collected a mating pair of orange pygmy seahorses from a sea fan 80 feet below the surface. They rushed them back to the California Academy of Sciences in San Francisco, and there, for the first time in an aquarium, the pygmy seahorses survived. The scientists watched the male and female seahorses performing their daily courtship dance. They saw baby seahorses pop out of their father's brood pouch. The babies all started out a dull brown color, so scientists wanted to know what would happen if they provided a purple sea fan to the offspring of orange seahorses. And they got their answer. The babies turned purple. They grew calcified bumps called tubercles to match the coral's texture. And there they stayed. We humans tend to think of who we are as mostly fixed. But in the ocean, identity can be a fluid and mysterious thing.
All right, so that was the video about the pygmy seahorses. Did you notice any connections as we were listening to that? Yeah, one big thing I noticed, and the point of this video was trying to figure out whether the seahorses chose coral that matched them or if they camouflaged and changed color to match the coral, which the video answered. But we read a lot about that in this text where the seahorses were able to make themselves invisible, almost invisible, by using camouflage with their surroundings. So that was definitely a connection. It also said that the pygmy seahorses stay in the same area. And if you remember in this text, they also mentioned how the seahorses really kind of have a home base where they just stay and really don't go far from that same spot. I also noticed, I don't know if you noticed this at the beginning of the video when it was showing the orange pygmy seahorse, I could see its tail wrapping around the coral, and that was something that this text talked about a lot, how they use their tails to be able to grasp onto things. It also showed the seahorses dancing and then the babies coming out of the pouch of the dad seahorse, the father seahorse, just like we read about with the barber seahorse. So were there any other interesting connections that you noticed? I hope you enjoyed the video clip and learned something new. I know I've said this quite a bit, but I have just found seahorses to be such interesting creatures. So I hope you enjoyed that. All right, so now we are moving on to our Socratic seminar question. And just a reminder, our speaking and listening goals. We've talked before about trying to speak in complete sentences so that the person that we're speaking to can really clearly understand what it is we're trying to say, right? We want to be able to communicate successfully so that people know, what we're saying, what we're thinking, what we need, what we want through our communication and our speaking. All right, so our question for today is, in what different ways does Seahorse teach readers about the seahorse's unique features? So in other words, in what different ways does this text teach us about the seahorse's unique features? So we can be sharing things that we've learned about the features, but we want to focus our answer more on the specifics from the text that have helped to teach you about the seahorse's feature. Remember, we talked about some of the text features in this text, like the index, or we talked about the different text size and text location and how that can help readers to learn more. So I want you to try to focus on something specific from the book, which is why I said it might be helpful to have a copy to look through. Have the illustrations helped you in a way to learn something more about the seahorses? Has, one of the captions with a picture, the text with the picture, helped you to understand more about the seahorse? So it's connecting, what we know about seahorses, but really also specific parts of the text that have helped to teach us that information. Okay, so as always, just try your best. I can't wait to hear what you think. And I do encourage you, when you go on to Flipgrid, if you see classmates that have already answered, I do encourage you to check out what they have to say. We can learn a lot from each other, not just from me, but I learn from you, you learn from me, and we can all learn from each other. So I definitely encourage you to check out some of your classmates' answers and what they think, and see how it compares to what you were thinking. All right, so again, thinking about a specific part or feature of this text that helped to teach us about the seahorse. All right, so let me know if you have any questions or if you need any help, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Bye, guys.